Yeah, there's a lot of strategies out there, and I talked to a number of bigger or deeper pockets than I will ever dream of having, and they all talk about the same thing. Collect your gains. You see the dip coming, you move it to something more stable. A lot of guys that I've been talking with, they'll invest in Doge or invest in safemoon or Shiba. Some of these meme stocks or these meme coins that are popping up. They'll collect their gains and then move everything to like the US coin, the stable coins.
This is Amigos PC. If you were looking for a highbrow, fancy, smart, regal podcast with hosts that love to talk about horse riding, badminton, and trips to the vineyard, you're in the wrong place. This is Amigos PC. If you're looking for drinking, random nonsense, stunts, shenanigans, and balls out craziness, you've hit the jackpot. This is Amigos PC, and this is Scott and Mark.
Amigos PC back at it again. Today, I got a couple quick housekeeping items. We recently launched a email subscription on our website page. We are going to be starting to do a monthly merchandise giveaway. So if you guys want to jump over, add your email to our email list. A little pop-up will come up and down in the left corner on our website, or if you're on your mobile app, it'll just pop up right on top. Put your email in there, and you'll be notified of new episodes every week. And again, you'll be put in for a giveaway, even if you put your email in just the one time. If you are not picked that 1 month, your email still counts for the going months going on forward. Today we have guest John Mazz from the Side Hustle Enterprise YouTube channel. You also do crypto mining, and you're like a crypto aficionado. Can you give us a little insight of how you started your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so the YouTube channel kind of came out of necessity. I was a teacher for a number of years at a college level, and I had a student that was special needs, needed additional learning aids, and it kind of came to fruition that way. And as I practiced for him, creating content for him, I decided to start creating content for myself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
How did you stumble into cryptocurrency?
So, try not to go too crazy on you. I've been involved in crypto almost since the beginning, since the conception, 2008, 2009. Around that time, I had just moved to Southwest Florida. I was living out of my car. Gentleman that I was working for, his son was involved in it, and I had a background a little bit with building computers on my own, on top of some other things, and kind of just got talking and thought it was an interesting concept, and I've been enthralled by it ever since.
Awesome.
So did you end up like building your first crypto rig, or were you just buying crypto, or like what was the start of your crypto endeavor?
So I built this kid rig, and at the time you could mine Bitcoin with your PC. I mean, you didn't need anything fancy. I mean, you could use just a graphics card, like a 470, nothing crazy, and even use a CPU at that time. So he was very new to it, didn't have a whole lot of computer background. So I just kind of helped him source the parts. We put it together and basically plugged it in at his dad's shop in the corner without telling anybody. And unfortunately, I've lost contact with him, but that's how I started mining, was just with a small computer in the back of a welding shop.
That's awesome.
Well, so in your YouTube, you go over, it is a lot of educational items, maintenance on rigs, what the market's doing, things like that. More recently, with the episode that we have now, the market is, I don't know if you want to call it starting to head towards like a bear market, but with cryptocurrency at least, but it is really shifting right now. Do you have any insights as to like why that's happening?
I don't know if there's so much insights, but gut feelings. A lot of stuff is happening, getting some major market makers having huge gains and huge losses, And everything's kind of tied together, whether it's the U.S. stock market and the whole meme stop kind of debacle that's going on right now between GameStop and AMC, kind of tied into, these bigger hedge funds covering their losses by selling massive amounts of cryptocurrency because they're not regulated, they're not reported. So they can, sell off millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency to make their clients happier. And that's kind of what I'm thinking is happening behind the scenes. And then that compounded with the China regulations and everything that's going on there. I mean, I think this is the 4th or 5th time that I've seen China ban cryptocurrency, but it's every time it happens, it always sees a little bit of a dip. So it's a lot of things kind of coming together, I think, coming to a head, and I don't really think it's a start of a bear market, just kind of maybe a retracement and consolidation.
So you mentioned China four times, or that have done that, or that they've maybe talked about it.
Yeah. So I mean, China's one of our biggest suppliers for ASIC miners, application-specific integrated circuits. So like the L3 Plus, S9s, T17s, whatever they are. So they have easy access to them. They have direct manufacturer supplies, plus the government gives them an electrical discount on their electrical costs, which no one seems to ever mention. So for China to be banning cryptocurrency this many times, I mean, like I said, I think we're on the 4th or 5th time that China's actually announced that they're banning cryptocurrency. And it's not necessarily that they're banning it, is that they're trying to implement regulations to launch their own digital currency. So it kind of gets misstrued, it gets mistaken, translations differ from when they launch something or to when we hear it. So it's an interesting take on it. I think a lot of people are kind of hyper-focusing on China, when it's more, I think, stuff here in the U.S. that is really... We're one of the wealthiest countries in the world, right? So we have some of the the wealthiest people in the world, and they're just dumping money and trying to save their fortunes by investing or holding assets in crypto, and they're pulling it out now that they're losing it. So I think it's like I said, it's a lot of things. I think people are just overly focusing on China. I don't think it may have an effect on why we're seeing the dip, but I don't think it's the underlying cause of it.
Okay, that's a good take on it.
Yep.
I have my own kind of theory, I guess you could say, as to like kind of what is triggering and then implementing it, which it is this FUD, right? Elon Musk putting out Bitcoin's not on renewable resources, or it's not efficient enough for renewable resources, and then China coming in and they're like, hey, we're making our own digital currency. And then we're also looking to ban, which, like you said, this is like the 18th time they're doing it. I'm being over dramatic. But,
it feels like it. It feels like they have it.
Yeah, right. And then just people see red. They're seeing blood, and they're trying to get their assets out, like you said. So with all that happening, look, we have days like today, what is today? Sunday the 30th, and things are like popping everywhere on the cryptocurrency market. And one thing that I struggle with is really trying to find, okay, why? Like I know we've had the dip, and that news seems to be present when that really happens, because it's either on Twitter somewhere, or you get the new. You can find the news fairly quick, but then when it starts to pop, you start to like really look out. Okay, well, why is it popping? Who's doing what? And it all is moving together too, which kind of for me seems really skeptical as to, okay, why is the whole entire crypto market kind of following the same trend right now with how it's fluctuating?
I mean, you can go deep into conspiracies with it. I try to take the emotion out of it, and I try to take, whenever I'm trading or looking at a chart, I've been trading since, I was 18. I was first able to open my E-Trade account when E-Trade was the big thing. So I've been studying charts, been looking at charts for a long time, and I try to focus on that. I try to focus on the numbers, not so much the FUD. But you have to also take in consideration human emotion. people see a dip, like you said, they're going to panic, and it's just kind of a snowball effect. It starts building up, and to the point where you're having these massive dips, 30-40% retracements. But as things calm down, which is kind of what we're seeing now. I mean, I was looking at the Doge charts before we went on, and we're breaking resistance points. It's forming very specific patterns. Now, cryptocurrency moves far faster than a traditional asset or market class, like whether you're trading foreign exchange currencies or if you're on the U.S. stock market. Those follow certain historical levels, right? And you're only allowed to trade those certain hours of the day, so many days a week, where cryptocurrency trades all the time and never turns off. So you see far faster movements and manipulations in markets like that. So even though that it's dipping far faster, or it's dipping, or we're seeing higher highs, lower lows, and we're getting so much momentum, you got to take into consideration that the market never sleeps with cryptocurrency. There's always somebody trading it. It never stops. So of course, when something happens and it snowballs, you're going to see these massive dips. You're going to see these massive gains. Either it goes both directions. You have to be prepared for it. And like I tell everybody on my YouTube channel, it's don't invest more than you're willing to lose, because it is a gamble. It's you got to be in it for the long haul, or get your gains and get out.
Yep. I know you talk about emotion, and we're sitting here, me and Scott are texting each other, oh no, the market's shit today. It's not working out, this, that, and we're pouting over a 30% dip on 300% profits.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Look at the big picture.
Yeah.
I
mean, it just sucks when you see the red. You like seeing the in Robinhood world, which Robinhood's not the greatest, but when it's in the red, you kind of like, oh shit. But when you see it in the green, you're like, awesome,
Get away from Robinhood crypto, man.
Oh yeah. No. I know. That's where I started with it, and then I was like, nope. Ever since they started pulling all their bullshit with Doge and basically slowing it down, and basically they don't really have much of anything in there anyways. I'm definitely in the works of. They made it easy
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It made it easy. But I'm a strong believer in Doge. I'm still a strong believer in cryptocurrency. Even if it dips another 20-30%, I'm still involved in it.
Yep. Same.
Constantly looking at new projects.
Yep.
No, yeah, we're a huge fan of Doge. I mean, we both pitched in to do your lottery.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We like, that's one of the coins. So I put I started off with Robinhood as well, and I had put a little bit of money in Doge on Robinhood. When it was like a third of a penny. Like, I was even surprised it was just even on Robinhood. So the fact that it was there, I wanted to put money on it. And it wasn't until, it started hitting 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, now 30 cents, where I was like, okay, I need to, when dips happen, I need to move it out of this and put it somewhere else, because I can't be in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategies out there, and I talked to a number of, bigger or deeper pockets than I will ever dream of having, and they all talk about the same thing. Collect your gains. You see the dip coming, you move it to something more stable. A lot of guys that I've been talking with, they'll invest in Doge or invest in SafeMoon or Shiba Inu, some of these meme stocks or these meme coins that are popping up. They'll collect their gains and then move everything to like the US coin, the stable coins. Hold it, wait for them to see signals on the charts, and then buy back into them on the dip at a discount and ride the gains again. So, but I mean, to do something like that, you have to be watching the charts constantly, and you have to be on top of it 24/7. Just to make 10%. It's a constant battle.
Yeah. So you bring up a good point here, because we're not really traders. Like, we're like one of those hodlers, basically. Like, we're mining it and essentially, putting it into other stuff, depending on which cryptocurrency that we mined. Yeah. But like Doge, it's mined and it sits. Like, we're not actually, moving it in any which direction for the most part. Yeah. So when it comes to trading, you mentioned the stable coin. Do you have a preferable stable coin that you would want to use or recommend, I should say, as to putting a coin in there to kind of try to offset and do that type of trading strategy?
So I guess to kind of answer your question, I got to go back just a couple more steps. So I mine it just like you guys, but I also buy it as well. So everything that I mine, it gets broken up into certain percentages, if you will. So a percentage of it goes to a hard wallet and gets kind of stashed away for a rainy day. A portion of it goes to pay electric bills, and then a portion of it gets put onto, say, an app like crypto.com, where that's where the money I trade with. I try to catch the gains, and then I'll convert it to like true USD, which on crypto.com, if you stake their CRO coin, you can get up to like 14% APY. So you hold for a couple weeks, couple months, whatever it is, while it's dipping with the true USD, collect your interest. Now you have a little bit more extra in your pocket, turn over, buy the dip in Doge, ride it up, sell it, and repeat, rinse and repeat. So it depends on which platforms you're using. I like crypto.com. I've been with them since the beginning when they were MCO coin before they were CRO. So they've been really good to me. But I know a lot of guys like Binance does interest, a lot of, BlockFi. There are so many platforms out there, but that's how I would do it, or how I am doing it. Catch my gains on the amount that I allocate for trading, and then move those gains into a stable coin that pays me out interest, and then rinse and repeat. When I see gains coming, I move funds over, buy the dip, collect the gains, put it in stable, rinse and repeat, kind of scenario. So I'm catching the interest, the compound interest, on top of the trading gains that, if I make them, it's kind of a roll of the dice if I can catch those gains or not trading.
Yeah. So when you say not, because I'm fairly new to it, I guess, the world of crypto. So when you're saying watching the charts, or when people are watching the charts, and I guess when you just start seeing it, so Doge hit 72 cents right at one point, and that's when it, the all-time high, and then basically it started falling, right? So I guess at that point, would you anticipate at that point, and then basically that's where it's not crashing, but basically going down? I guess I just don't know how people would know when it's gonna get to a point where it's going to stop. You know what I mean? Like, is there a way to kind of judge that, or have an idea? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's definitely tough, and a lot of people have their own way of trading. I set, and again, it's very difficult for cryptocurrency because it does move so fast, but you do dollar cost averaging. So you start seeing a dip, you start taking your gains on the way up, and you start taking your gains on the way down. You dollar cost average in, you dollar cost average out. Kind of, limit your risk, if you will. I mean, there are traders out there. I'm not one of them. I don't have the time or the patience to sit there and watch a chart. And I got the peak at 72.5557 cents, whatever it is, at the very, very top, and they hit that sell button. I can't do it. I'll wait for my alarms to be triggered. I'll wait for some notification that I have set. Okay, now it's starting to dip. It's got a 10% retracement. I'll start taking my gains. At that 10, that 20, that 30, until I hit back or come back down to my original buy-in price. And then either I'm holding if I have anything left, or, I'm closing out my entire position and taking my 10, 15, 20% gains. It's the years that I've been trading, I found that it's better to limit your risk and collect a small amount of gains than try to risk it all with the possibility of losing it all. So I'm going to collect my gains where I see them, and I'm not going to complain about it because it all adds up over time.
Yeah, that's good.
We've been kind of on the topic of trading and things like that, and I saw the other day in your Discord channel, which amazing community, by the way. I thoroughly enjoy everything in there, awesome. Even with the new rules on being vulgar and whatnot. But you had made mention of a trading bot the other day, or someone made a question or something along those lines, and you shared some information on trading bots. Can I get your thoughts on a use of a trading bot, and what is, what's a good strategy to try to utilize something like that so we don't have to watch the charts? Sure.
Avoid them. No, they share. They have a good. They have a good purpose for some people. Like I said, there's tons and tons of them out there. When we were talking on the Discord server, there's some big ones out there. There's some new ones that are coming out. I think there's even a famous guy on TikTok now that's got millions of followers that use this one called Stoic. And it's supposed to be this revolutionary AI trading solution that's catching gains and losses, whether it's a bear or bullish market. I've used trading bots for forex trading on a platform called MT4, MetaTrader 4, and they range from prices from $0 to some guys selling them for $10,000 for these bots. And what they're doing is they're just utilizing already founded or fundamental trading strategies. They're just programmed into these bots. So everything that these bots are doing, you can do on your own. So why spend the money and waste the time? Learn the fundamentals. So when you do, you want to spend the money on the bot, you understand what the bot is doing. Because the bot, just like a human, if it's going off of what we are telling it to do, it can make mistakes just like we can. But if you have a checks and balance system, these bots can be beneficial. But I don't recommend them for people just getting into trading or kind of like a set it and forget it mentality. You have to monitor them because the market changes, environments change, emotions change, and those are things you can't really predict.
Especially with crypto.
Yeah, and that, you bring up you bring up a good point with how you just said that, with new people getting into crypto and trading bots and things like that. And one thing especially that we need to really mention, and I should have done this at the beginning of the episode, to appease the YouTube gods and algorithm, none of us are financial advisors here. So you need to do your own research and essentially, take your best strategic action that you feel is the right way to go.
Right.
So none of this is advice whatsoever.
None of it all.
No.
Not an expert, but I'm a welder. I've been a welder for I'm going on 22 plus years of being a very proficient welder. Aerospace industry, race industry, you name it, I've had my hands on it.
Wow.
I'm a masterclass welder that just loves trading and loves cryptocurrency. Those are kind of my driving forces to allow me to build top fuel Harleys and to build the kind of the fun stuff that I want to do. So it's
cool. Nice.
not a financial advisor by any stretch of the definition.
So we had mentioned Doge, and I want to also bring up other altcoins as well. What first got your interest on Doge? Because we're fanatics of it for the most part. We specifically looked for an L3 to make sure that we could mine it. We're trying to figure out ways of capitalizing on what we're actually mining so we can get even more. So what type of what got you into Doge?
So I think I posted my first Doge themed video and Instagram post back in 2016, 2017.
Wow.
So I've been involved in Doge since the L3 came out, when the L3 was primarily made to mine Litecoin on the Script network. But I saw the benefits of mining a coin that nobody was really talking about. It had a huge community, it had a huge following right off the bat, and the creator of it at the time, he's since stepped back from the development team, but he was all about good vibes. He was all about instilling positive reinforcement to the community where there is so much negativity involved around. Whenever you involve money, whenever you involve that kind of stuff, there's always going to be that underlying negativity. So he was all about I don't care if my coin is worth anything, it's a joke, it's a meme coin, but let's make it fun, let's make it entertaining. And the community has blown up, and that's more or less why I got into it, just because I saw the value behind the community, not so much the coin, but the community.
And that would have been before Elon Musk even found his excitement. Yeah. So that was before the hype train, really.
Yeah. I was going through my posts, and I think one Christmas I even sent my brothers, as a joke, I sent them each like 50,000 Doge, back when 50,000 Doge was worth maybe $10.
Wow.
way back when, and I'm calling them up now. Do you still have that? Do you still have access to that account? Because that's a car payment. That's a down payment for
some good money right there.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I've been involved in it for quite some time.
Nice.
That's cool.
So what are your thoughts with, basically how things are happening? Do you see Doge at $1 at some point in the near future?
I think it can be. I think we can definitely get there. We have a lot of catalysts that still haven't been, touched upon yet. that, you know, are kind of in the pipeline. They're in the works. Everyone's talking about them, but we haven't seen them realized yet. You know, Coinbase, Robinhood, other exchanges, whether Elon Musk comes through and puts it on his Dojo supercomputer. There's so many things that are popping up with Dogecoin that it could definitely hit, I think, $2 a coin. You know, we're talking, if it hits $2, that's a $200 billion market cap. You know, it's definitely feasible in time, say 5 years down the line. So I'm still holding, I'm still mining it. I definitely think it can touch off. I was just doing some research earlier today talking about Dogecoin and the conspiracies behind it. I think it's hilarious seeing those conspiracies pop up behind Dogecoin and people finding binary codes in transactions because it was so cheap to send and mine and use Dogecoin. I mean, they got hidden messages in binary code embedded in some of these transactions over time. So I thought it was cool to see.
That is something that we always like to dig into, like conspiracies. We even have our own conspiracy on the show. And I have like gone down the rabbit hole of your Discord channel with the Doge conspiracy.
Oh God.
You just made mention of the one with the binary code. Are there any other Doge conspiracies that are entertaining, or at least maybe even, you know, it's plausible?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. The big binary one, I think that's kind of one of the biggest ones out there right now, where people are sending messages to each other through different transactions. But I think that kind of got washed away a little bit after people discovered it, sending Elon his own private messages saying "Happy Birthday, Elon," and, you know, just some of the things that we discovered. A couple of the guys in the Discord that had, you know, shown up. But I've been diving deeper down the rabbit hole myself, tracing these transactions. It's so simple now to create these Dogecoin wallets with so many different platforms utilizing them and implementing them, that, I mean, we had, so I'll kind of fill you guys in, I guess. We're talking about, so Elon tweeted the 11th, the 13th, and the 14th, all revolving around Doge. He asked on the 11th, should we use Doge? You know, then on the 13th, he had that big BTC, you know, where we're going away from Bitcoin. And then on the 14th, he says he's working with the Doge team. And then right around the same time, we had a wallet pop up on the 9th with right around $800 million or 2.7 billion Dogecoin in it for a very short amount of time. And almost looked like it was doing transaction tests. So it did a number of transaction tests, and then we saw a single amount of Bitcoin, the same amount that was put into it, the same exact number was sent to a brand new wallet that was just created on the 9th, the 19th, that doesn't have any more transactions, but it's the same exact value that the original wallet has started with. So a lot of guys are thinking that's maybe Tesla's wallet that they're testing with, that they're moving the money around, trying to figure out the best way to implement Dogecoin or payment system using Dogecoin. Because I mean, the numbers are too precise to be. I mean, you send Doge, you have a transaction fee for any cryptocurrency, but they calculate it in, you know, for just to be somebody sending Dogecoin to a buddy, but then to have the final transaction be the same exact amount put into it at the very beginning, 100 transactions later, or 20 transactions later, whatever it was, and then go to a brand new wallet. It's very suspicious to me to see, you know, transactions like that. So that's
especially that large. I mean, it's got to be somebody with some big money. And
it's definitely on the rich list. It's number 5 right now. So it's you know, 2.76 billion Dogecoin, right around $757 million. Wow. So it's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, wow.
And to be just playing with it.
What do you think about Robinhood and their possibility of being like one of the top 10 Doge wallets?
It's possible. I mean, one of the things that I've been digging into and I've been trying my hardest to figure out, there's a big conspiracy around Robinhood buying, again, like you said, top 5 wallets, tons and tons of cryptocurrency or Dogecoin, not just in Doge, but BTC, Ethereum, buying them at these super low prices years ago and holding them in these wallets, and they're internally trading the asset on their platform using that single wallet. That's why, on Robinhood, you don't have your private keys. It's not really your cryptocurrency. So they can say you have, whatever amount they want to tell you have. They pretty much control it. Not your keys, not your coins kind of situation. So it could be very possible that they have one of the largest crypto Doge wallets out there, and they're just internally trading with its users and collecting the profit off of it, just sitting there holding it.
Wow. I gotta get out of there. I gotta leave fast. You're scaring me.
I can't point the finger too much. I still have coins, held up
over there
in Robinhood, so I can't point the blame too much. But yeah, it's definitely something I've been trying to do is get away from Robinhood.
Yep.
Yeah. So and.
I was gonna. Well, no, you go ahead, Mark. No, I'll go out.
So we're talking about the DogeCoin, right? And now, this crypto bull run essentially is like altcoin season for the most part.
Yeah.
We have coins that are doing static reflections and a lot of things going on with multiple, and it's essentially just a lot of coins mirroring another coin and things like that. We have this project now that we talked about on a previous podcast, and you talk about in your Discord channel a lot, is SafeMoon. With its reflective static liquidity mining, or however you want to say it, right?
Tokenomics.
Yeah, tokenomics.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on SafeMoon as a project, and what do you think things might be like with this? Because I feel, before you answer the question, I feel like they're doing the right things, right, as a team, a core team, but also at the same time, like, they're doing what every other coin is doing. So it's like, oh, we got an exchange now, or we're making an exchange, we're making a wallet, we're giving you a card. And, like, there's nothing new, innovative that I'm starting, like, really seeing, other than like the Gambia thing, which that also has FUD that is going along with it. So like I said, what's your thoughts and opinions on that?
Okay, so down the rabbit hole we go, I guess.
Yeah.
If you really want to go, talk about duplicates and reproductions of coins, everything is a basis off of cryptocurrency or off of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin itself is actually a copy of a whole nother project that was implemented years before that. And we're talking back in the early 90s when people started talking about digital currency and implementing this kind of Bitcoin project. And it wasn't until 2009 when we got Bitcoin. And it just, everybody copied it. You copy a good thing, you see your money maker, you're going to copy it. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, all the way up the chain, and you try to implement your own kind of spin on it and improve upon it to, do we get to that, apex coin that has just everything that everybody is looking for, that standard. I don't think we're there yet. I think we have a long way to go. I like SafeMoon because it checks off a lot of boxes for me. Bitcoin is very anonymous, which is awesome. I know a lot of guys like the decentralized factor around so many different cryptocurrencies. You have SafeMoon, though, that is a licensed business in the U.S. They have legal, ramifications if they do a rug pull. They have, they're going to be facing jail time if they do a scam, like, say, BitConnect does. I know we had a lot of people talking about BitConnect or comparing BitConnect to SafeMoon. BitConnect was a Ponzi scheme based on loans and compounding interest. SafeMoon is a tokenomics system that is only generating coin every time a transaction happens. So it's not promising anything. You can, the market could stop having transactions tomorrow, and nobody's gaining tokenomics. Nobody's talking about that factor. If everybody stops trading SafeMoon tomorrow, the tokenomics dies with it.
Wow.
So, and I like the way they have the tokenomics set up. They're burning the liquidity. They're burning, so many tokens are getting completely destroyed off the market, and then certain percentages going back to the holders. I think this is only phase one for them. I know you mentioned the exchange, you mentioned the wallets and the cards, and I know other services have done that. Binance being one of them, Crypto.com being another. It's going to be interesting to see how they develop and utilize those tools moving forward. And I see them as using them as tools, not so much the underlying fundamentals of their coin, but just tools to be used, or perks to be used, if you will, for that cryptocurrency as it grows. Now, having something that has an unlimited supply, no, it's not unlimited, I know it's in the trillions, right? For SafeMoon.
Yeah.
I could see them potentially doing almost like a reversed split, or that you would see in the stock market. For every 10 coins that you have, you now have one. That would drive the price of SafeMoon exponentially, parabolic, if they burned, 10,000 coins for every one, and you get back one. So they have a lot of tools at their disposal and strategies that I think that their team has probably considered and thought of. That as a business owner myself, that's what I see them doing, is they're running this as a business, and that's what I really like to see, is that they're holding themselves accountable. They have plans. I mean, this is still in the infancy. We're only a couple months old, and they have millions of followers. They have millions of wallets.
Yeah, they've done well for the short period of time, for sure.
Right, and then that speaks volumes. And they're combating the FUD. They're out there doing their best to say, hey, we understand that you're concerned about this. Let us fix it. That FUD is incorrect, but this is what's really happened. This is what started that FUD, and this is what we're doing to fix that issue. So I thought that interesting. Good.
It does seem like they are being very transparent in their AMAs. I think obviously they have an AMA usually every Sunday. This past Sunday prior to today, they had an AMA where they had talked about reflection for the most part, and prior to the AMA, or if it was on Twitter, I can't really recall now. I'd have to look it up. But at one point they said that Whitebit was not going to apply tokenomics to their exchange, even though they have SafeMoon listed. During the AMA, they broke out and basically answered a question that made me believe that, the way with Whitebit not doing that, the way it came off, or how they said it is that each exchange essentially reflects back to who holds it at that exchange. So if we got ours off of PancakeSwap, we only get reflections from people who trade through PancakeSwap. We don't get reflections through every other exchange.
I know that.
The way that this was kind of sold to us at the beginning was, if you trade SafeMoon 5% or X amount, 2.5, whatever it is, because they split it so many different times, goes to you. They didn't mention exchange to exchange. And that, I think, has been either I need more clarification personally to kind of figure this out, or this is it's frustrating for the most part, because you sold it to me at the get-go not just the exchange I'm on. So now I feel like I'm losing money because I should have gotten more from every other exchange that's been listed. You continually promoting to more exchanges, for me, is a bad thing. And that kind of shows with where the price is now, right? Yay, we're getting reflections, and that's great, and it's boosting up. I'm seeing a certain percentage daily being returned back to me, which is awesome. I love it. But at the same time, every time a new exchange opens up, or let's say their exchange, and I don't want to move from PancakeSwap, I am going to get a little piece of that, because I think that they're not going to they're not going to waive the fee to move into SafeMoon's exchange. I don't feasibly see that as a correct business decision. I could be wrong. I totally admit that being wrong. I'm wrong 99% of the time when it comes to stuff like this. But
you're married.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine's tattooed on my finger, so I understand.
For me, it's frustrating, but it seems like it's. I don't even know where I was going to end with that. But essentially, this seems like it's a real thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely I feel your frustration. I kind of bought into that whole sales pitch at the beginning as well, with the tokenomics being implemented across all exchanges. And I think that was.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to give these guys the benefit of the doubt, because, like I said, it is such a new coin. I don't think the exchanges, you got to remember, a lot of these exchanges are run off of servers in some guy's grandma's basement. I mean, some of these, they're not big time exchanges. It's not like the Binance server exchange. It's not like Coinbase.
No.
So to implement some of these tokenomics across multiple platforms, they all have to be connected in some way, where a lot of these exchanges are decentralized and off of that kind of platform. So I don't think they were really expecting that to happen. I think they had good intentions. I think they initially wanted it to work that way, like we're talking about, across multiple platforms, across multiple exchanges. Hopefully they come out with a patch to fix that, and we'll see the tokenomics be implemented easier on some of these larger exchanges and across other exchanges where we see our tokenomics. I think it's supposed to be a 16% APY pretty much on safemoon is what it comes out to. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, which if you think about that, dude, that's amazing. Like, you go to a bank right now, you'd be lucky to break a percent.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of these cryptos too. There are other exchanges that are offering, inflated numbers beyond that, but 16% is a good rate, man. Like, it's just something that it's a positive direction, and it's passive income, especially if you bought that coin passively. It's kind of like we did.
And it's a 5-second intervals when you get your safemoon tokenomics payouts, right? 5 seconds roughly. So it's a 5-second compounding interest on that 16%. So every time that your wallet goes up, every 5 seconds, it rolls over and starts again on that 16% or whatever it is. I think it comes out to 0.06% per day. My math is horrible. Don't quote me on that. I think it works out to something similar to that. So that's the compounding effect that really got me. I love compound interest. I love that type of investing. And like I said, I really hope that they pull that patch out and fix something that they recognize as broken, like they have been doing, and we see them fix that on the exchanges. I think it's pretty cool that they have done a couple, big FUs to a lot of these bigger exchanges and services that say we don't believe in safemoon. Well, you know what? Screw you. We're going to do our own wallet. Like what was it? The treasure, the hardware wallet, right? They want to implement safemoon on it. So the safemoon team said, screw you. We'll come out with our own hardware wallet on top of our card that we're implementing. So they see issues, they're rising to it. I hope that this is another issue that they rise to and fix. This is basically what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I believe in the project, but it's just like when you hear things like that, it makes sense as to why there's red, right? It just makes sense. Like, okay, well, why am I still at the same amount that I initially, put in there? It just doesn't make sense with where things. And I'm not expecting this thing to go to the moon immediately, but I am expecting good things from it. Yeah, I want to retire, damn it, today.
I'm right there with you. I feel you. Yeah, and then that's the struggle. We're always looking for those new projects. There's always something new. There's always something bigger and better.
Is there one that you're looking at now that's pretty infantile, kind of like SafeMoon, that maybe is on your radar, as far as maybe something that's pretty new?
I try to limit my risk right now. A little bit deep. We'll dive deeper into my background, I guess. I sold my house. I sold everything I had, and I moved 800 miles out of Southwest Florida. So what I'm doing right now, the YouTube venture, the whole investing, day trading, I don't consider myself a professional day trader I'm proficient in it to enough where the past 5 months now I've been living off of my trades, have been living off my investments.
That's good.
And it's something I've always wanted to do. So I've been very limited on my risk that I've been taking. SafeMoon, I had some coins laying around. Actually, it was a Cardano, had done real well for me. And I sold some of my Cardano, bought into SafeMoon. So even if I lose everything for SafeMoon, I'm not out any money that I wasn't willing to invest. It was money that I found lying around on an old PC.
Gotcha.
From, I think it was a version 1 Cardano wallet. I mean, it wasn't much, but it was enough to get myself a good chunk of SafeMoon. So, but yeah, I try to limit my risk. I know a lot of guys in the Discord server are talking about Ethereum Max. They're talking about a lot of these Ethereum forks based upon the London fork that's coming up with Ethereum 2.0. A lot of people are scared about that one, so they're looking for alternatives. Even the miner standpoint of it. When Ethereum switches over, now it's with the gas fees, everything else, people are looking for other places to point their GPU miners. So whether there be Raven coin,
we're gonna be
in that boat,
we're gonna be one of them
because we have Ethereum that we're doing.
I've been watching Bits Be Trippin' on YouTube. I really
awesome
like
name.
him and his style. It is. And he's recently done some videos as to, okay, well, what's going to happen? Where are we navigating to? Things like that. Do you have maybe like an idea? Are you mining Ethereum right now?
Not currently. And unfortunately, I'm in a rental house right now, so I don't have a designated. I mean, it's an old house. I've already fried some of the electrical in part of the house already. I have to repair. Trying to run my L3s, so I'm very limited on power. I do have an older PC behind me that I'll try different algorithms on. I switched to Raven for a little bit, Raven coin, or mining that for a little bit, because the difficulty's down. When I'm looking for new projects on the mining standpoint, I'm looking for something that has a large community, but the difficulty is super low, like DogeCoin was originally. Tons of community, tons of support, lots of talk, whether it's good or bad, it's still talk. And then the mining difficulty is low, so I can gather up those coins as it becomes more and more popular and more people talk about it. SafeMoon is one of them that you don't really have to mine. Then you know, before SafeMoon you had master nodes, people buying and holding like Dash and staking. I did that for a while. So you gotta, it's very difficult, and I've definitely lost a ton of money trying to figure out what the next big wave is, and it's a constant battle. But to answer your question, like it's definitely SafeMoon, definitely Rave right now. Been kind of looking at Ethereum Max a little bit. Got to dive a little bit deeper. I'm probably one of the only few guys out there that actually reads the white papers for a lot of these coins. So.
Mark
is
definitely
does that
something
too.
I do.
Mark makes sure he knows what it's all about.
Yeah.
Before we start messing with it.
Yeah, if you're going to invest your money in it, you might as well, learn a little bit about what you're investing in.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
We're to get back onto like the SafeMoon and alternate coins. So I made mention earlier about like all these little copycats, right? And so what I've been doing is I've been taking a little bit of piece of my Ethereum that we're mining. Just small chunks, nothing crazy, $20-$30 worth or so, or $50, whatever. And essentially, I'm putting it in some of these copycats. They're like, I got Bonfire came out essentially around the same time as SafeMoon, and then there's like Safe Mars and Elon and Dick and Pussy and all these other ones that are coming out.
Ass. Forget about ass.
I'm trying to diversify, man.
Why no? But the ass coin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the ass coin, the Australian Shepherd. Yeah.
Yeah. You have. I mean, you have a whole. Right, and that's the gamble. I mean, you're only taking $20 or so, and you say you dump it into like Shiba Inu or Pornhub coin or whatever it may be, whatever you want to dive into, and it's only worth a fraction of a penny. So you're getting 7,000 coins or whatever, or 7 million coins or whatever it is. So yeah, it's rolling the dice. It's going to the craps table and hoping that it comes up red or black or
Yep.
I did that for a long time, and I drove myself crazy trying to read everything and try to figure out what's going on. And yeah, you can spread it. You take $100 and dump $20 across the gamut of all the dog coins that are out there, or all the the shit coins that are available, and hope that you get lucky. I mean, everybody hopes about those grandeur times, but it's tough. I mean, I'm very tempted sometimes to do it. And then I got to remember, I got to put food on the table. I got, bills to pay. So
yeah, exactly.
It's tough.
As soon as I heard of the pussy token, I was like, I want to buy that.
Own some pussy
so bad.
It's married life, right? Yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah.
God forbid me. My wife hears this, but I'm right there with you. It's one of the bigger ones that I got into a while back was there was a pot coin that you could stake masternodes, and I went heavy into it, and I saw huge gains right off the bat because I was running 4 or 5 masternodes, and then it just tanked. It just it went bye. I mean, I got what I invested into it back out.
Good.
All the gains were gone. So I'm a little bit skeptical now. I'm a little, jaded, if you will. But no, I understand the appeal of it. Absolutely. If I had, a couple $100 lying around that I could roll into 20 or 30 different coins that are now on like the Ethereum Smart Chain Network is very popular, like you're saying, or the Binance Smart Chain Network, or NFTs, whatever it may be, just kind of roll the dice. I'd absolutely do it. But I'm trying to keep my crypto portfolio minimal. I'm focusing, like I said, on DogeCoin mainly is my main squeeze. SafeMoon is a big one for me right now, just because I got, I like the team, I like the coin, a little bit of Bitcoin just to kind of, make myself solid. And then CRO is a huge one for me because I use crypto.com.
Yeah, me too.
I use that wallet constantly. My wife is out with my kids right now, probably emptying the card, but I like it. I stake it. That's a big one that I'm involved in. And then of course, like I said, we always go back to the stable coins, the US Trust coin, USD Trust.
What do you think with crypto.com, their DeFi app versus actually using the app where the card is?
So their DeFi app is interesting. I've only dived into it very, very little, so I don't want to speak too ill will of it. But it seems like it was a rush job to me. It's got some good fundamentals behind it, but it's a lot like the Coinbase DeFi app. I mean, no one talks about it. There's an actual
no one talks about it. But what I found appealing on the DeFi app is that like there is no limit, and you can stake your crow for like 12%. There's no minimum. It's like that's a no-brainer for the most part if this app is actually functionable.
Yeah, from what I see, it works. The only issue that I've had with it so far, like you just mentioned, I tried to do something similar. I tried to roll over because there's no limit on how much you can stake on the DeFi side of things versus your limits on the actual crypto.com mobile app. There was a little bit of a disconnect on how they linked up. So it was taking me a little bit of time to transfer funds back and forth. So that was kind of that more or less turned me off when it came to the DeFi app. And now they have the NFT app, and now they have like a savings. I think they're coming out with a new crypto savings or lockup app that they're trying to put out now. They're trying to fall in line with crypto or Coinbase is what I feel, and they're just trying to compete and race with them, and they're not, more or less checking off all the boxes. They're just trying to get something else out there. Not saying it's bad. It's just they need to take a step back. They have a really good platform with CRO and how that's staked and how that's utilized. I really like how their rewards program works with their CRO token. But how they interconnect with each other, I think needs a little bit more thought. That's all.
Gotcha. Okay. Can I pick your brain on mining CRO?
Okay.
So it's not mineable, right? So it's not at all. But there is a way. So, and I've been trying to figure out what the most cost-effective way would be of doing this. And I was kind of thinking of maybe getting like a 3 or 4 gig card, right? On a cheap motherboard and putting it on ProHash. But the thing with that is, right now, like the operating system we use for all of our mining for ease of use is Hive, because we're in 2 different locations and we have 2 different setups going on. So we need control. We need a centralized control of it for each other. With doing it that way, that like how I just stated, how can I do that through Hive?
Through Hive. So you'd have to find a trading pool. Like you said, crypto.com or CRO coin is not fundamentally built to be mined, but because of the market cap that's behind it and the amount of assets and liquidity that CRO has, a lot of these exchanges or pools that are tied to exchanges are adding it as a payout device. You mentioned prohashing.com. It's one of my favorite mining pools, because when you do your calculations and you're trying to figure out how much money you're going to make with your miners, it gives you a solid number. It says you're going to make $20 a month. You're going to make X amount of dollars a month, whatever it is. So, I mean, you take that further, pull out your little calculator on your computer, and you can, the price of CRO is $13 or 13 cents for a coin, and you can do the math that way. Or you just set it to the CRO payment or payout and have it put into your wallet. So you have to find an exchange, or again, a pool that has an exchange built in. Some of these pools don't have exchanges. So there are F2 pool is a good one. Prohashing.com is an amazing one. Zerg pool is another good one, that they have exchanges built into their system, and that's how they're doing it. They're exchanging it at almost no transaction fee because it's all in-house, and they're sending you the coins that you want to be paid out in. So you'd have to figure out what pool is going to pay you out the most profitable for the algorithm you're mining in. So if you're on pro hashing and you're mining script with your L3 pluses and you set your payout to CRO, it's an instant transaction on their back end to convert whatever script currency or script coin you're mining to pay out in CRO. So it's all happening behind the scenes. So you just got to figure out who's got the lowest fees, who's got the fastest transactions, and who's not going to run out of coins to pay you, because we've seen that time and time again on some of these smaller pools that are trying to knock off, say, Zerg pool, and they'll say, I want to be paid out in Doge, but they run out of Doge to pay people out because they're not mining it fast enough. So you have to, these larger pools are great for it, and the Hive OS system is a great system to use. Like, you guys are using it in a decentralized location kind of setup where you guys are spread out and you both can monitor it through the app and make changes. Someone else is having dinner, the other person sees it's going down, and you can make changes right then and there. It works out great for that kind of setup. It's just you guys have to agree on what pool is going to pay you guys out the most that offers the CRO payout.
I was just trying to think of, like, if there's a way that, because I know you can integrate NiceHash with Hive, right? There's ways to do it. You have to manually put it in, but you can do it. And I'm wondering if ProHash has something similar like that. I just haven't had a chance to Google that yet because, well, one, I don't have the card. So with my thought mentality, right, getting a cheap card like that, is that going to really give enough value, or do I have to go and get some type of 8 gig card just to make sure that I get a good chunk pulled through? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I mean, if so, you have to find, so you're mining with a graphics card GPU, so you're talking about gigs with a graphics card, right? So not ASIC. So you're gonna have to find a coin that is compatible with your graphics card. So you almost, it's very difficult to mine nowadays with a 4 gig graphics card. You need something that's a little bit more powerful to make it worth your while. 8 gig and above, right? So you have to figure out what coin your miner, your graphics card, can mine the most efficiently. It's not going to be Ethereum. It's probably going to be Ravecoin. It's probably going to be, or like you said, not a site that I would use myself, but NiceHash. NiceHash takes your hashing power and puts it in a pool that they tell you what to mine. They pretty much are taking over your rig. You're getting paid out BTC or whatever it is, and you're converting it. So I'm not a big fan of NiceHash because of that reason. They're renting out your hashing power whether you give them permission to or not. I don't like the way they're set up.
I haven't used them. I've done a lot of research on it, and I'm not a fan. I'd rather use a system like Unmineable versus NiceHash. But I just know that there's functionality with it because there are a lot of NiceHash fanboys and girls. I'm not discriminating. It's 2021. Essentially, they have some type of functionality with Hive. But what you're saying is a 3 or 4 gig card might not be enough to essentially get what I'm trying to accomplish with Pro, doing it through Pro hashing.
Pro hashing does what a lot of people don't realize. You could actually message the Pro hashing team. They all work off of donations, but you can message them and they can actually put a designated port for you to mine whatever algorithm you want if you have the hashing power to support it. So when you're pool mining, you're contributing power to a general consensus of people across the world, all pointed at one single port, right? If you have the hashing power, Pro Hashing will give you your designated port. They will let you mine on their server or their service, through their service, and they'll set it up for you if you have the hashing power. If you're outside of the typical front-end dashboard that they show you, and you're connected to the Hive OS, you say, hey, I'm using Hive OS, I have X amount of hashing power, and I want to, this is what I want to do with it. they'll open up a port for you in the server just for that specific reason. But you have to, have the hashing power to do it. A way around that is kind of what we did on the party pool in the Discord server, where people were contributing to the Zerg party pool, where you had a code that connected your miners and your hashing power to a specific port that group was mining together, like a large farm would do, but spread out.
Yeah.
So you have to make it worth their while for when it comes to pro hashing or some of these larger exchanges or larger pools. F2 pool is one of the largest mining pools out there, but they don't have CRO, for an example, for payout. They have a lot of other ones, but CRO isn't the best. So ASIC wise, you may want to go F2 pool. If you're talking GPUs, you may want to go pro hashing, or you may want to go Zerg pool, some of these smaller exchanges, and have the overall hashing power that nobody else has. So you're going to be the first one to the block, the first one to find the reward, and the first one to get paid out. So it's a lot of research you have to do and a lot of digging, unfortunately, to really see those big gains. But if
Mark's just trying to get the black card. That's why. He's trying to have 400,000 crow.
I'm right there with you, and I'll share my strategy with you. So something similar to what you're doing, but I will point my L3 pluses at pro hashing, and I'll get paid out in CRO. Take that CRO and stake it, or I will take a portion of it and USD Trust, collect that 14% interest, and roll it over to CRO. So multiple inlets, not just focusing on one. I mean, I understand the whole set it and forget it type mentality with the miners, just constantly getting paid out in CRO, but because it's not accessible on multiple pools, you kind of have to figure out maybe a few other different sources to kind of gain that CRO, to gain the stake.
To get your black card.
Right. I'm right there with you. I want it to.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, I know. Like we use the card. Like we pay electric with it. We've bought equipment off of Amazon. Like we use it, and I've used it for just miscellaneous things too. I'm not intrigued by like the little benefits of them giving the kickback of reimbursement for Prime or Netflix or anything like that. I'm more geared on like, hey, you're going to give me 8% worth of crow when I use this thing. I want that.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Those little incentives of the Prime or the Spotify, memberships. Oh, that's all well and great, but I want the first class lounge seating, and I want the 14%, interest on whatever I stake. And it's not just CRO that they increase the interest with; it's across the whole gamut that they.
Yeah. Lord. Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, so the more you stake with their CRO, so you have the earn portion of it, where you can earn with any crypto or almost any crypto on their exchange, and then you have the CRO staking, which is a completely different platform. So you actually have to, you're locking up your CRO, and they're paying out to a separate wallet your rewards, right? So you can continue to roll them in, or you keep what you have locked up, and you lock up or you send the CRO that you're gaining as interest into a secondary interest-bearing account, because they're separate. So the earning account is different than the staking account. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
So you have the CRO card locked up coins, the 40K, the 40,000 coins, whatever it is, to get your metal card or your black card or whatever it is. Those are locked up, but they pay you to your typical or your everyday CRO wallet. And then that CRO wallet can then deposit into a separate earning account, getting additional interest on the ones that you're receiving as interest from your staking. So it's kind of a big circle, but you're getting.
But it's all making money. It's a money circle of money.
It's a big circle. I should draw a diagram and put it on the Discord for everybody.
That's awesome. Well, we're just over an hour. We got a couple questions that we usually ask everybody on the show, and then from there we're gonna just kind of wrap it up with everything. So I know that you had stated that you've been kind of catching up with some of our episodes. Yep. So some of these might not be too much of a shocker for you or off the wall. We recently had Dave Serra on the show. He's a huge Kill Tony fanatic, and I don't know if I should really say that. It'd probably give me shit that I just said that, but He lives in LA. He frequents the Comedy Store regularly. He does a show with another show favorite, Kelsey Hudgens. And we asked him, do you think Australia is real? And we've asked this to multiple people because there have been instances where we have asked, people from Australia, like, is it a real place? Because there are some things, if you think about the flat Earth theory, it may not be a real place. You get on a plane for 18 hours, you land somewhere, but did you really land in Australia? And you don't really know. But he brought up a good spin to that. Because we're dwelling on Australia, right? So my first question would be, do you think Australia is real? But before you answer that, Antarctica has these billionaires that frequent I don't know if you want to call Antarctica an island. I think it is because it's all by itself at the very bottom of the earth. But these billionaires are sitting there on their yachts in a green part of Australia, which baffles me right off there. Not Australia, but Antarctica, which baffles me completely. Greenland, Iceland thing, even though that's on the opposite side, it's still kind of confusing. Antarctica's supposed to be ice. Why is there a green area? Do you think that there's something else on Antarctica for that reason? So 2 questions there. Mainly
they're telling us that it's nothing but ice and uninhabitable, but it's probably like some billionaire awesome island that none of us can go to. Basically,
the billionaire retreat.
That we're just not allowed to go. We don't have the black card.
Yeah, in the black card. Even before we met each other, and you guys you stumbled upon my Discord and the YouTube channel. My father-in-law is a big believer in the flat Earth project.
Oh, nice.
And where I used to
amazing.
live. Yeah, and where I used to live in Southwest Florida, there's actually a cult that used to be there, Coruscant Park, it's what it's called, and they believed in the domed Earth theory. So I've been to that park many times. There's actually, I think the last member just left, like 1998 was like the last member, so it was a fairly recent cult, right? So I constantly have this discussion with my father-in-law. It's something that always comes up. I believe in the dome theory, I guess, more or less. So I think Antarctica is a portal to maybe the center of the Earth, and that's how people are getting in.
That's a whole other level.
So underneath the ice cap, there's a hidden door to the center of the Earth. More or less. I'm not going too deep down the rabbit hole. So following that domed Earth theory, yes, I would say Australia is a real place. My father-in-law would beg to differ because he believes in the flat Earth kind of theory, and why would we for 18 hours to go, theoretically to another country yet? So I tip the scales both directions.
That's awesome.
I can only imagine holiday dinners with your father-in-law being a flat Earth theory. Like that's awesome.
He's a great guy. I mean, he's a former Mennonite who doesn't drink, who loves the gamble because he never got to do it growing up, being a Mennonite, and to hear him go on and the conversation back and forth. My wife and my mother-in-law just walk out of the room. They're going at it again.
Next time he comes or next family event, just have like a whole bunch of like the globes from like school. Remember like those? Just have them all over, set up around your house. Of Earth, so he can spin them.
Yeah, he hates them. He talks about how the proportions are off all the time. It's like that's not the actual size of it. That's not how you measure. It's a constant back and forth. So yeah, we tease him all the time, and he teases me. Oh, we're gonna go travel. Keep digging. You'll find the center of the Earth. You'll get there. So we make fun of each other all the time.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So. We kind of already went into the conspiracy stuff, so I'm not going to ask that question. But do you have any type of music that you find as a guilty pleasure?
Music is
like you're a Taylor Swift fan.
My playlist is strictly 90s music.
Oh, that's good.
But my wife is 5 years younger than me, born in a different generation. She hates it. She's like, I'm sick of listening to it, but I love 90s rock and 90s, type music. And then growing up in the house that I grew up in, whenever I'm looking for kind of a pick me up, I'll go back and listen to more 60s and 70s style music. just because that's what my mom always saying, and that's what kind of like picks you up a little bit. So
that's cool. Very cool.
So when you're out and you're doing your welding stuff, is there something that you're just like, you know what, I gotta listen to Nirvana today?
Yep.
Is there something like that?
Absolutely. There's definitely some hardcore 90s rock going on in my garage. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So this one might throw you off a little bit, so if you get put on the spot, I do apologize.
Bring it on.
What is a piece of information that you have learned in your life that feels illegal to know?
The credit system is a fraud. It's fake. We're all made to believe in the credit system, and that's the underlying power when cash is king. My grandfather to the day he died never had a single credit card, paid cash for everything, and he was a very well-to-do individual. Yeah, so the credit system is controlled by 3 corporations that all have somebody in their pocket, and the credit cards. There's so many loopholes to get yourself to a A+, AAA rating credit score that I could go over. We could spend a whole episode just talking about how to get your credit up. I don't want to be that person like a lot of these other YouTubers, but yeah, there's so many loopholes to manipulate your credit score that I don't believe in it. And I don't believe in it at all.
We're the only civilized, well, I don't want to say civilized, but we're the only wealthy nation that, like, we put our dollar against it. Like, we basically have our economy built off the debt of these credit systems from 3 agencies. Like, not a good abundance full of agencies, 3.
Yep.
So
so true.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. It's something that is very convincingly true for the most part.
You need that,
and you see.
Yeah, that's what you were brought up to believe. You needed a credit score to get anything, and it's not true.
Exactly,
it's not true. If you have money, cash talks.
That's true.
So we have started a mining endeavor, me and Scott together. That sounded all weird and rhymed.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
But we have yet to use credit cards. Like we have essentially almost a full gigahash of Ethereum hash rate.
That's awesome.
And we have yet to use one credit card for that.
That's true. And that's just going to keep hopefully, growing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's you guys. You hit the nail on the head. You're following why these bigger governments entities hate it so much. Is because your money's making money. That's the equation to life. Not credit, not anything else. You are producing an asset that, in turn, you can make more of an asset with. It's just money making money. It's a printing machine, and then you upgrade your equipment, and you're making more of it. So that's why I think it's hated by so many individuals and so many money makers and these bigger hedge funds, whoever else is controlling the markets. Is because now we have the power in a computer or in my apartment or my house that like some college student in his dorm room could turn on his PC and start making money to pay his college tuition with.
That's
what it's
so
all
much
about.
smarter.
And very last question, with you being a YouTuber, so if someone new came across your library of material, where should they start?
It's a tough question. My channel's all over the place, granted. So if they're coming to me for cryptocurrency, definitely want to check out some of my Market Watch or Market Moves Monday content when we talk about different cryptocurrencies, kind of give you the 411 on what's going on. And then if you're looking for something more up to date on a regular basis, we always have the Market Watch Wednesdays, and it's a live conversation. So if you want to come on and talk with me live, and ask me a question right then and there, I'm always trying to do my best to answer and educate and help as many people as I can.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Where can we find you?
So Side Hustle Enterprise is the YouTube channel. I'm also on Twitter, J Mazz or JF Mass IV on Twitter, and Instagram is kind of dead for me, but I'm also on TikTok according to my wife, so I can always find me on TikTok. And That's about it. I mean, YouTube is kind of mainly my main communication point, along with my Discord server.
Awesome.
Which is an awesome community, by the way. I think I've said that a couple times so far. All right. Amigos out.
This has been the Amigos PC. Make sure to like, subscribe, and review us on all your podcasting platforms. Visit us at AmigosPC.net for our entire library of content and Amigos merch. Till next time, adios.